buildings stop after a couple of minutes normally, and they just didn't. I was like, I felt like I was in Inception, and I was just in this like globe of buildings that was just never ending and randomly.
Funny, I didn't know there was sky until I moved to Texas. Like it was like, oh, I just thought that was the cloud region and then the top of the building. It's like that's how it works, right? But what for you when you came to Austin? How did it feel for you? What year did you move to Austin?
1997.
Oh, awesome!
It wasn't too weird because I think you make that shift from high school to college, and it's such you're moving from one isolated place to another. So I didn't really do much off of UT campus for the first 2 or 3 years. You just go to school, and you maybe go to West Campus for a party, or you go downtown every month or two, or maybe you drive off campus to try to go to a restaurant every month or two. So you're not really living in Austin when you're at UT,
right? Until
you're actually off campus or far off campus. So I didn't feel like it was a very smooth transition. And then once you're at UT for 4 years, then you're in Austin. And eventually you start to range farther and farther. So,
did you start improv when you were at UT? Did you do the what's the name of that group? Giggle Pants or thereabouts, whatever that used to be?
Yeah, no.
In the 90s.
So before I started doing improv was Well Hung Jury. They'd been around for a year or two, and they were the kind of big campus improv troupe. And then I started with a group of friends in a program called Plan 2. I had all these really funny friends, and I fell in love with improv kind of from a distance and checked out a couple things, and then ended up taking a couple classes, and then turned around and taught immediately everything I was learning in classes to my funny friends at UT, and started an improv troupe basically in my second senior year at UT, so around 2001. And we did shows for about 2 or 3 years, and then it just kind of faded away. And Giggle Pants sprung up while we were in our second or third year, so they were kind of semi-concurrent.
And Giggle Pants is short form. Was it born out of the theater sports? Because I know that theater sports was here, or not?
No.
Is it theater sports? Is that what I'm thinking of? Yeah.
Yeah, so the Hideout Theater sports, which is, this all gets real nerdy real fast.
I'm down. Let's get nerdy.
Yeah. So Hideout Theater sports is a Keith Johnstone format that he started way back in the 70s or 80s, and then theater sports spawned comedy sports eventually, just because people didn't want to deal with the rights to theater sports, or they wanted to do it differently and not do it the way that Keith wanted to do it. So comedy sports sprung off of that, and then Giggle Pants was a bunch of kids who went to high school in Houston, I think, not positive. I think they went to high school in Houston and did the comedy sports there, like as teenagers, and then came to UT Austin and did comedy sports basically at UT. So we were doing totally different stuff from them. We were doing a lot of Keith Johnstone-y short form, but in a more kind of curated way, and like the vibe is different between theater sports and comedy sports in a bunch of different ways that are nitty-gritty to articulate, but there's all kinds of different formats that you can package short form in, so we did a bunch of that, and then we started quickly to trip into narrative and long form in small little training wheels ways, and then grew that and did more and more of that over time too.
Interesting. Did the short form Johnstone format help develop into the narrative?
Yeah. So I think even Johnstone's short form has an eye on narrative. I think even when you're doing games, scenes definitely. So if there's a scene and it's from that Johnstone school, you're looking for what exists in this world, who are these people, what are the relationships, and then how can you find a way to subvert something about that turns it into a story. Either, change the status between the characters or reveal new information that has to be dealt with. So it becomes more than just people dicking around, people being funny, people finding a game. It becomes something that changes story-wise, narratively. And I think that it can apply to gameplay as well. And a lot of games are actually trying to teach that ability to be changed and to look for opportunities to change. And in the Johnstone way of thinking, most games are ultimately training tools. They're things that you can use to get sharper at different aspects or skill sets within improv. And then it's fun to do in its own right as a format. So,
interesting.
Out. Yeah. And then I think the narrative in that short form, like small scene style, can then be expanded into like a larger story arc type of narrative as well.
Yeah, like if you spend a lot of time with a specific character and you're watching them have an emotional journey, it would be easy enough to continue on following that person's story and be like, well, now I'm invested in that person.
Yeah, I think it's just a bit. You're looking to build something normal, not funny normal or not unusual normal, but something that's their everyday life. And then once you build that, once you break it, it becomes story, and all of a sudden you're off and running.
Is theater and performance something you've known you wanted to do for a while, or?
No, I kind of tripped into it in excuse me.
Have a cheese puff, it'll help.
Yeah, that's gonna work. No, I tripped into it. I did a comic strip for the first 2 or 3 years I was in college, so I would just like sit in my room and try to make funny things up every day.
Like a 3-panel thing?
Yeah, exactly. So I did that, and then that kind of fell away. I got bored with it and was looking for something else to do that would be creative and fun and funny, because I kind of created this self-identity around that stuff.
Do you have a website, or did you like put it in the a newsletter or anything like that?
It was so long ago that we did not have websites.
Okay, so you just like showed it to your friends?
No, it was in the paper in the Daily
Okay,
Texan.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Awesome.
And so I had that kind of self-identity as somebody who did this funny creative thing, and I didn't have an outlet for it, and I knew some people that did improv. Shayna Merlin was a year ahead of me in the program that I was in, and I knew that she was doing stuff at this theater somewhere and teaching classes, and I eventually took a class at UT that was really terrible in the Department of Theater and Dance, but I got to go see shows at the Hideout while I was in that class, and then I ended up taking classes at the Hideout eventually. So that kind of tripped me into improv. And at the same time, I'd gotten involved with this Plan 2 group called the Broccoli Project, which is like the amateur theater group for the Plan 2 program. And I had done some writing and like little bits of acting stuff in that. And then ended up doing a program through UT called Shakespeare at Winedale, which is this summer full immersion. You go and you spend 2 months working up 3 or 4 different Shakespeare plays, and then you do them in rep over 3 or 4 weekends, and it was amazing. And between doing that and kind of falling in love with improv, I just ended up doing performance, which was I still don't even think of myself as a performer necessarily. I love teaching, and I perform a lot of improv just because you do, and you have to if you do improv, and I like it. But I think there are people that light up at performance. There are people that are fueled by performance, and that they're like that audience response or that connection somehow is the thing about improv that they love. And I always liked the idea of improv as a creative outlet and as a thing that kind of cracks open this empowering, capable thing that you otherwise might not have, and comfortability, and like all the life skill sets side of improv. That's the thing that fascinated me. And that it's this creative thing that is just bottomless. Like that you never stop figuring out more about how to make this thing work the deeper and deeper you get into it.
Yeah. Do you think of yourself more as a teacher then, because of the sort of exploratory nature that you're excited by?
Yeah. I think teaching, and I like directing too. I like solving the puzzle of how you use improv to create theater in something that makes improv accessible for people. So you can put it in front of an audience and they light up and they get it and they're excited by it. And maybe even, I think ideally, feel like they could do it maybe. Like they could get up on stage and do it. So I think teaching and directing are the primary things, and then performing is just like a fun side effect of improv.
Do you... So I really thought I was going to be like a comic book artist growing up too. Like I did comic strips for my high school newspaper. I had a very tiny, shitty little website that all my friends I got to the point where I figured out Photoshop, so I would just spend hours on a Wacom tablet doing this stuff, and most of it was just it's not accessible to anybody that really didn't go to high school with me, because it was just a lot of inside baseball about fuck this teacher and fuck that person and so forth and so on. But there was a lot that I put in the newspaper that was just universally applicable. But you ever fuck around? You ever doodle anymore still? Do you is that something that you just needed to be creative, so you would do this thing? Or
no, I feel like I'm capable at lots of things, and a lot of life has been trying to figure out what is exciting enough that's actually worth following.
Mm-hmm.
So the comic strip thing was great, and then I kind of fell out of love with it. And art projects are cool, and I'll get into one every once in a while. Like I'll decide to do an art project of some kind, and then spend a lot of time and get super focused and do it. But I don't think I have like the long-term sustainability to do that.
See, okay, so like that's kind of the reason I was asking is because like no matter how much shit I like show, because I've stayed friends with everybody from back home. So I've stayed friends with everybody from back home for better or worse, just because I like seeing what both sides are doing. You know, like I'm in a place of culture. I didn't grow up like that. I like seeing how everybody's, you know, what both sides are doing and thinking. But no matter how much stuff I put out where it's like, hey, I'm a performer now and I like doing this and I like writing and all this stuff, every now and then a lot of people are just like, oh, that's cool, improv. You try any comics lately? And it's like because that was just my identity in high school, was this guy who would like sort of like, you know, very slightly Harvey Pekar kind of way, just take what was going on in our lives and put it in this kind of statement as a comic. And it's like, no. But I think I have, but I feel a need to. Now all of a sudden I feel a need to go like write some shit for you that like you will validate for me all of a sudden, you know? And so like every now and then, and it opens up like a flow. So like I'll start doing something, I just be like, meh. And then it starts looking like something, and I'll get back into it for a second. I'll spend 4 hours and just get like just covered in shit, just like making a thing. And then it's just there, and then I'm just like, I love it. I could do that still. Where's the stage? Where can people look at me again? You know, it's like, I don't know, like when can I do something that people will applaud after? You know, like because I did it, and I was just like, where's everyone?
It's such a weird like dichotomy between art that produces something, because I have like all those old comics that are hanging out there. They exist as things, and I like looking back at them. And I've made things over time that I'm really proud of that exist. I did this kind of charcoal drawing of my dad and me from an old photo for his birthday, and it's really fucking good. Like I did a really good job. So I go home and it's on the wall, and I'm like, God, that was really good. But then the instinct to try to do more of that, I don't think I have inside me. And improv is the opposite, where you've got nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
Like I've done 15 years of improv, and my memory's not even that great, so I don't even remember that much of it.
So I've only been doing it for 4 years, and people come up and they're like, you did this thing that one time, and I was like, maybe. Did you like it? Because I did that.
I always say the improv brain is like having an Etch-a-Sketch in your head. Like the minute you move, it's gone.
Yeah. So where's the itch in that I'm scratching, or what's the rewarding thing there that makes it worthwhile? Like, what are we chasing that has no product and yet is still, you know, you made an audience laugh, you made some money, you created a format or a project that people were like, oh, that was good. But I don't really know.
Well, there's the upside to that is, because like, I still have all of my old comics, and every now and then I kind of look back through it. And sometimes it's better to just let the pressure of like it's like you're a steam engine, and the steam is creativity, and you just let out little bits at a time. And that's kind of like performing for me, is like just letting out this need to put something out. But when I like look at some of the evidence of it, and I mean there's a lot of videos for some reason. I don't know if Mark Carpenter just wanted me to feel bad later, but like there's a lot of videos of very early improv that I did that are on the TNM like YouTube and I remember going through it and just being like, I'm making it like 5 minutes in and just be like, no, because it's early stuff, like I'm not good at it, and looking at those comics, I'm just like, no wonder I got suspended twice for this. Like no wonder several teachers didn't feel okay with me writing this shit. Like I was just, it was, sometimes it's good to just have that memory, like the nostalgia wrapped memory of like 7 out of 10 people laughed at this one show I did. So I'm gonna
actually don't believe in videotaping, or I just aged myself. I don't believe
videotaping.
I don't believe in filming like performances of improv in any way, because I actually to the end of like what is the worth of it, I was like, I think the worth of it is the connection of the human beings in the room.
Yeah.
Like the people that are there at that moment we all got to experience something together right now in this moment. And yeah, it's fleeting, and yeah, we might not remember it later, but we all had it.